I have created way too many channels, so we shall see how long I can last with this one. Here is beginning of the year tag question. Let's go. So if I keep looking at my left side, it's because my laptop is on my left, so I'm trying to read off the questions. So for the first question is, how many books are you planning on reading in 2025? So my answer will always be the same. It will be 12 books. I always aim 1 book per month because I know it is achievable for me. If I cannot reach a goal, I will feel so demotivated and I will not read anymore. So in order not to stress myself, because reading is not a competition, so I will say 12 books per year. 1 book per month. We'll move on to the second question. A book you are likely to reread this year. I normally don't reread books because my TBR list is super long. But recently, I just finished this book called Welcome to Hyunam-dong Bookshop, and I think I read this book at the right time, so I freaking love that book. If I ever have to choose 1 book to reread, it will be that book. Third question, a priority read on your 2025 TBR. Again, I don't really have any priority read because I am a mood reader. So if I have to choose, it will probably be books that's going to come out as a movie or a drama soon in 2025. But I also don't really watch drama. So I guess The Housemaid. Okay, I will answer this question. Maybe The Housemaid. Yes, I am the minority that didn't read The Housemaid yet. But I will be soon, this year. Next question. An author you won't be reading more books from this year. It probably will be Sally Rooney because I read Normal People and Conversations with Friends a few years ago, and I really don't vibe with the book. But the problem is me. It's not the author, it's not the book, it's me. I just don't vibe with it. We shall see. I will never ever say no to her book because, you know, the more I age, the more my taste in book changes. So who knows, maybe in the near future, I will like her book. You never know. Something new you want to read. I wanted to read more fantasy books, but I am so intimidated by it. I feel like I won't understand a single thing going into reading fantasy books because I feel like my pea brain cannot understand their rules, their politics, their world. So if I don't understand, then how am I going to read the book? You get what I mean? Their book also usually very thick, and then it comes with series, and I feel like I have commitment issue and I can't commit. I'm scared. So yeah, I think I need to slowly ease into it. But other than that, I also want to read more horror book. If you guys have anything to recommend me to read, whether it's fantasy or horror or anything, you can just let me know. I will put it in my very long TBR list. A popular book you want to read. Listen, I want to read The Little Life. It's on my TBR for the longest time, but I am so scared because I know it's considered the saddest book. It's very traumatic, and I know I will definitely cry reading that book. The question is, am I even ready? Can I even handle it? Will my mental health spiral? That's the question. Pray for me. Just pray for me. I don't know how I will spiral, but probably will spiral. Most anticipated 2025 book release. It will definitely be Abby Jimenez's book called Say You Will Remember Me. I actually just finished Part of Your World series and I am obsessed. So I'm looking forward to reading her book. Also, Holly Jackson book. I love Holly Jackson. I read all her book that she published. A Good Girl Guide to Murder series is actually my favorite book from her. And can I take a moment to say that I love Peeps and Ravi? If you read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Pete and Ravi relationship is freaking gold. So if Holly Jackson ever want to write romance novel, I think she will slay. Definitely. A bookish goal for 2025. I need to start DNF books if I'm not feeling it, because it's really hard for me to DNF a book. I feel like if I did not finish the book, I was not qualified to talk about it and give my honest opinion. But I also need to accept that sometimes the book is just not my vibe, and I should not waste any more time reading books that I don't like, because Reading a book should be enjoyable and not torture yourself. Okay, maybe also torture yourself. You know, if I read saddest book or like book that, I don't know, trigger some kind of emotion, it's normally pretty good. But, you know, if you really don't like a book and then you feel like it's wasting your time, maybe you should just DNF. So, yeah, I hope that I will just DNF a book if I don't vibe with it. That is my bookish goal. Next question, a book that's been on your TBR you probably won't ever read. I have over 300 books on my TBR, so I know I won't get into every single thing, but I'm going to say I probably will put young adult romance novel at the bottom. Not that I will never ever read it. I will probably if I have the mood for it, but it will be my last priority. A series you want to read this year. Definitely the Natural series, because I watch a lot of Booktuber and they said that if you love A Good Girl Guide to Murder, you should probably also read the Natural series. So I'm just going to listen and try to read the Natural series. Hopefully it's good. So yeah, I will give that a try. And I also want to ease myself into reading fantasy books. Actually, a few years ago, I read this book called Entangled with Fae. It's a standalone, but it's also part of a series. So I will probably read that because I actually read the first one called The Curse of the Wolf King, and I really like that. I actually give a 4.75 stars for that. So I will be continuing that whole series. Your auto-buy authors going into 2025. Holly Jackson. Say no more. I love her. I really love the way she writes. I know sometimes people say that the way she writes is very, very long and give a lot of details, but that is exactly why I love her. I want to know all the details. I feel like she's very detailed and well planned with her plot, and that is why the book is so good. Yeah, and the plot twist is so good too. So I'm going to continue reading Holly Jackson book, and I'm looking forward to her new book this year. A book to show adaptation you are excited about this year. Again, I rarely watch show, and to be very honest, I don't even know which book is going to get adapted until it was like on air. So I guess The Housemaid, because that is the only thing that I know. Everybody is looking forward for Housemaid, so that's how I know that The Housemaid is going to come out soon. But I also feel like Emily Henry book is also under adaptation, and I heard that it's Beach Read and People With Me on Vacation, which these two books I did read before, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and the Midnight Library, I like that book, so I will most likely also watch the show or the movie, whichever. A sequel you are anticipating. Nothing I can think of. I rarely read books that have sequel. I have commitment issue. So a bookish things you are leaving in 2024. Feeling bad for DNF a book. I need to leave this behind because my new goal is to DNF book that I don't vibe with. I used to not talk about books that I DNF at all because I feel like, again, I'm not qualified to do that. But you know, just know that whenever I DNF a book and I talk about it, it's usually not about the book, it's just me. What to expect from this account? Please don't expect anything from this channel, and please don't expect anything from me, because expectation leads to disappointment, and I really don't want to disappoint anybody, and also me. If you guys wondering, maybe this channel is for books, so I probably would just talk about books. Can you imagine if this is the only video that you watch from me and then I never post again? Most likely it will happen, but I should try. We shall see. I don't want to give myself so much stress, okay? If I can make it, I can make it. If I can't, then I will just let it go. Life is about enjoyment. I'm just giving myself excuses. Anyway, next question. How has your reading taste evolved from last year? Not last year, but maybe a few years ago. You know, I started reading when I was in primary school, and the reason behind it is so funny. So basically, during recess time, after I finish eating my lunch, I will go upstairs to enjoy the aircon in the library. But in order to enjoy aircon, you need to read a book. Like basically place a book in front of you and pretend that you are reading so that you can enjoy the aircon and not being chased out. So that's what I do. So I will randomly grab a book, place it in front of me and enjoy the aircon. But because I was so bored, right, and we cannot use phone back then in school, so I was like, oh okay, let me just try to read a few sentences. And then I realized it was pretty good. I started off fictional book, but I cannot for the life of me remember the title. But after that, I transitioned to non-fiction book, and I really stick with that for the longest time. I love non-fiction book, memoirs and chicken soup book. Oh my god, self-help book. I love that. So I just continued reading that until secondary school. During secondary school, I started to read 15 Shades of Grey. Can you imagine? I was a secondary school student. I remember teachers telling me like,
Fan, you shouldn't be reading that, okay? It's not good for you.
I still read it during my morning assembly. I think my teacher is like, I don't know how to deal with you. And then they never say anything again. They just watch me read the 15 Shades of Grey. I actually read the whole series except Grey. I remember not liking it, but I still trying to push through because remember, I don't like the DNF books. I feel like that book is not for me. They have really difficult words inside the book that I have to look up in the dictionary. And then I realized I was just learning biology, autonomy, those terminology, words, and not really enjoying the plot. Not that the plot is enjoyable, but I should say it's not for me. Yeah, so I read that, the whole thing, and now if you ask me, all I can remember is I feel like the guy have issue. I don't know. And then I remember they having a kid called Theodore. That's all I remember. That's all I remember from that book. I feel like my taste in book getting better now because I feel like the more I read, the more I know what genres of book I like. So that's good. That's good. Booktube creators who inspire you. I actually watched Larry. That's why I do this tag, because she is the one that created this tag, I believe. Larry is super expert in reading dark romance. So if you ever want dark romance recommendations or review, I think Larry is the booktuber that you should go with. Haley, Shira, Destiny. I feel like they are pretty up to date with popular books. So if you want to know what's in the market and what is popular, you can watch these three. They also love romance books. I think they read a lot of romance books, so that's what I will go with. MelReads as well. For MelReads, I feel like she tend to read manga, graphic novels. So if you want that, also check her out. I love how she very detailed with the synopsis of the book whenever she's trying to explain it, and she also very well articulated. She's very well spoken with her opinions and thoughts of the books that she's reading. You genuinely can tell that she did read the books. Lastly, I will recommend these three, which is Jack Edward, Cindy Reads, and also Lexi. Or these three I watch because they are freaking savage and I love it, and they are very sarcastic. So I freaking love their honest opinion about a book. So Jack Edward's taste is actually quite different from mine. He read a lot of classic, a lot of literature, a lot of poetry, and also Cindy read a lot of Asian literature, talk about Asian culture and all that. Something you want to say to anyone wanting to start a bookish account. I don't even take advice from myself, so I don't even know what to say. I guess just start. Don't be like me, procrastinate and overthink everything. Just start. You will never ever perfect it. Okay, I always look at a video when I was editing and I'm like, this is not good, and then end up I will not post anything. Just get it done with. Just post and don't look back. It will never be perfect, and just get the job done. So that is all for the beginning of the year tag. Hopefully this is not the first and last time you see me. Hopefully I will keep reading and keep filming and keep going on. Thank you everybody for watching this. Bye.